Hello. It says that I am live. Is anyone out there? Tell me if you're here. I'm like a minute or two late. So, sorry. It says there's someone here. So, welcome. Doing live sprints this evening. I had asked once I hit 1,000 subscribers, which was very exciting, how everyone wanted to celebrate. And I had a lot of people say a Q&A, but I had there was only I want to say like a 4% or something difference less that said like a live show or live sprints. So I decided to do both. So I will be recording a Q&A video, and if you didn't submit a Q&A, you could submit it during this live show if you want, because I'm recording it tomorrow. So I'm just going to do both because it's fun. So Lisa, yay, you're here. I love how you have snacks. You're prepared. Amazing. Hi, Amy. So good to see you. Thank you so much. Stephanie and Penny. It's so good to have all of you here tonight. I'm excited. Oh, so I'm actually vlogging this too, but I'm planning to do I'm doing like a 24 and 48 this weekend. So I'm like, well, it's perfect that I planned to do live reading sprints as like a celebration because I need to be reading. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. We may or may not have a special guest coming in a little bit. We'll see. I'll keep you in suspense. It might just be just me though. So, what is everyone planning on reading tonight? I just finished 2 books today and I'm in the middle of 2 other ones. I am reading Little Men by Louisa May Alcott. I have a cuter edition than this that I held up in my TBR, but it's super old, so I just decided to read this one so I don't have to worry about it falling apart or anything. And then I have The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. I just started this one today. I've been reading Little Men like all week, but I just started The Joy Luck Club today after I finished the other stuff that I was reading. So I'll probably alternate between those tonight. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate it. Hey, how are you? Long last friend. Good to see you. How's school treating you? Hi, Katie. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. Lindsay, Band of Sisters. I haven't heard of that one. This is actually for Historathon. So I wanted to follow the prompts because the prompts are so fun, but I just couldn't fit that many books into my TBR this month. So I decided I was either going to read this or I brought it in case I decide to switch, Fountains of Silence. And I read like the first page, and this one was just grabbing me a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm sticking with currently. Hi, Marcy. Now, oh, I haven't read that yet. And my daughter's like, you have to read it because Stellar Loon just came out. We got it. We pre-ordered it. My daughter used her Christmas money to pre-order it. And she read it in less than 4 hours. 728-page book. And she said it ended in a cliffhanger. And who knows how long we'll have to wait for book 10. But book 10 is supposed to be the last one, so hopefully it'll be resolved. Hi. Family sabbatical. I obviously have not been keeping up on the Kindred Spirits book club lately because I don't even know what that's about. I'm sure it's great if Kate decided to read it though. Oh, the Elvis memoir. Are you enjoying it, or do you feel like it's too detailed? Sometimes the details can kind of bog it down just a little bit. The Victor of Bullhampton. I've never heard of that, which honestly, I just read my first trollop last month. So that's part of the reason probably I haven't heard of it, but interesting. I've heard good things about A Voice in the Winds, but I haven't read any Francine Rivers. The 12 Months of Christmas. Look at you. You're so festive. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. Well, sort of. I I am drinking peppermint mocha coffee. But other than that, I'm not ready for Christmas stuff yet. I love Thanksgiving. So, but I love seeing all the cozy Christmas stuff. Like people have their trees up and they're reading Christmas stuff. And I say good for them because I love Christmas too. So I keep my Christmas tree up for a long time though. A mystery novella collection, Christmas scarf murder. Nothing says happy holidays like murder and mayhem. I love that so much. The Princess by Lori Wick. Is that the book? I feel like Holly just put out a video semi recently where she was talking about that maybe. Hello, thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out. Hello, Alyssa. I'm reading Little Man with Alyssa, in case you couldn't tell from this comment. You're watching Christmas movies. What movie are you watching? I want to know. A disappointing carryover from Victober. Oh no. What was it? What was it? Was it a book? No, that wasn't for Victober. That was for Project Gutenberg. But still. Oh, it's a Francine Rivers kind of night, you guys. 2 people reading Francine Rivers tonight. The Broken Girls. Aw. Are you dog sitting, Amy? Or are these your dogs? So. Thanks, Alyssa. Oh. Ooh, okay. So one of my sometimes beefs about historical fiction is that there are a million books set in World War II, and it feels like those are a lot of the popular historical fiction. So I love that it's set during World War One because it's a slightly different setting. And I'd actually last fall, I read another book by Amy Tan, The Kitchen God's Wife, and that was set during World War II, but it was set in China when Imperial Japan was coming in during World War II, which was totally different because I feel like most World War II books that I have read are set in Europe. So I thought that was really interesting. I like that. I feel like that is a really good compromise if you want a little bit of Christmas, but you want to wait. Because I usually decorate the day after Thanksgiving. I have Thanksgiving decorations and I love fall decorations. So I like to hang on to them. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Well, if it's hard to read tonight, you can just hang out and that's okay. Hopefully you have break coming soon. Like maybe a little break this week, but maybe your semester's almost over. I hope. So it's a little bit tangent then, is what you're saying. You don't need to know the details. It is related. I don't know. It's giving me a little bit of Les Mis vibes. No, I'm just kidding. That's way more tangents and details, but that was the first thing I thought of. We're like, I didn't really need to know that part. Okay, yeah. I just watched a video she was talking about earlier this week. That's funny. Royal Nanny. I haven't heard of that. Is it a Hallmark Christmas movie? Sounds like it could be. Oh, that's actually, in a way, that's kind of nice because you have a bigger space in between those 2 holidays. So you kind of have more of an opportunity to breathe. Because in the States, we don't. We go from one big holiday to the next. And then we don't really have another holiday. Not a big one for a little while. I guess we have Valentine's Day, but a superfluous woman. Superfluous woman. Like, that just sounds insulting. She wasn't necessary. I have this book. I bought it earlier this year, I think, like January. I heard Danny at Spinelli Speaks talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds so good!" And then I won a giveaway on someone's Instagram page and got like an online gift card, and that was one of the books that I bought. And I thought about picking it up for Historathon. I thought about it. May still. Who knows? Who knows? I'm being very fluid with my Historathon plans. Research for a paper. Oh my gosh. Okay. I really want to read Jeanette McCurdy's memoir. I wasn't like a huge I wasn't a huge Nickelodeon kid in general, I don't think. So I wasn't like a huge iCarly fan. My younger sister was. That was kind of like really popular when she was at that age. And I was just like a little bit above the cusp, but still I'm fascinated to read that. And I think Penny's a John Gwynn fan. Hey, Penny, she's here too. I always see her posting about John Gwynn all the time, I think. Dog sitting. Aww. You're such a good dog sitter. Yeah. Yeah, I like the different perspectives because otherwise when I read a lot of like European World War II fiction, it seems like it all kind of runs together, especially because a lot of them take place in France. And yeah, I've read some good ones. I mean, I love The Nightingale. Like I always compare that one with all the light we cannot see because I feel like even though they're not like the same story, it's the same setting. So, and I feel like I just see a lot in London as well. And a lot of the covers are similar. They're all like women walking away in like long coats in the rain, it seems like. I bet it's good. I'm assuming, does she read the audio? Because I'm assuming she would, and that would be good. I thought you were a John Gwynn fan. I thought I remembered you seeing you post about that on Instagram. That's fun. Sounds like we have lots of good reading happening tonight. I'm excited. I have read a lot today. I've had an incredibly busy week. So today I have done nothing, just laid around and read, and it's been really, really nice. I really needed it. So I'm just going to continue that trend tonight, but with friends, which makes it even better. Okay, she does. Okay. That's awesome. I love it when authors narrate their own memoirs in general. The only one that I've really listened to is Lauren Graham's book. Why can't I remember what it's called? I can see the cover in my brain. I think she just came out with a new one too. I can't remember what it's called. It's gonna drive me crazy. Anyways, she's talking about her start as an actress, and she has lots of times where she talks about Parenthood and Gilmore Girls, and it's just so much more fun listening to her because it sounds more conversational, like a friend is telling you about something. Thank you, Stephanie, to the rescue. I can see the cover in my brain, and I couldn't remember what it's called. I loved it too. Look at you. I love that so much. I need to come to you for historical fiction recommendations, I think, because it seems like the ones everyone talks about are all World War II ones. So I like reading a more varied perspective. And I also love historical fiction that's not dual timeline. So if you have some recommendations, let me know. I have read some dual timelines that do well, and I'm also okay with dual timelines if it's the same person. I just don't love dual timelines where one's like way in the past and then there's a modern day person, because a lot of times I feel like the storylines don't converge in a way that is super meaningful for me. But if it's like the same family or the same person in different, like skipping forward and back years, that's fine. Amy knew too. Well, I hope it's a really good experience, but I have yet to hear even one bad thing about it. So I would love to read that one. And also love to read Matthew Perry's memoir that just came out. Oh, I bet. I bet hers are so funny too. I love her. Oh, that's fun. I bet that was funny. Alberts is hilarious. Oh, we got other Historathon people. All right, Marcy, we're coming to you for recommendations. World War II. Okay. I Must Betray You. I don't think takes place during World War II. I think it takes place in like the 80s. So I just read that earlier this year and it was really good. It didn't emotionally affect me as much as Between Shades of Grey, but it was really fast paced and I read it in like 24 hours. So, okay, I'm right, Lisa. Okay, I was like, maybe I'm crazy and I remember things wrong because I can't remember what Lauren Graham's book is called. So I was not trusting myself there. So, It's fascinating though. Any book that is set in like any sort of dictatorship, communist regime kind of setting fascinates me. Like just I actually thought it was set in like Soviet Union, but it's actually in Romania. So the Blackout Book Club. See, but the title of that sounds great because it sounds super bookish too. But I mean, I would give it a chance. I'm not anti World War II historical fiction, just so you know. I'm not. I have read some that is really good. I just like the idea of reading something that's a little more varied because I think if I read a lot of World War II fiction back to back, it kind of blends together too much, if that makes sense. Yes, me too. Me too. It's almost like we read some of the same books. Actually, did you see my video, Lisa, that I put out? It was like revisiting my first book haul, because I was going through and seeing how many of the books that I posted in my first book haul have I read. And I had two books in a row that we both read together like last year, which I thought was really funny. It might be, or I mean, it looks like it could be a World War II cover. Just being honest, it is a very historical fiction cover. I do. Is that the one I have? No, that's not the one I have. But I really, really want to read that so much. I think Christy and Penny just read that together this year. I have another one that is. It might be Cambodian, but it's called They Killed My Father. And I had both The Girl with Seven Names and They Killed My Father recommended to me by the same person. So I'm always like trying to remember which one is the one that I have. They Killed My Father is the one that I have. But I have heard that that is so phenomenal. Like, I want to read that one so much. I think it's on my wish list, actually. Yeah, that's what yeah. I'm like that about a lot of things, though. If they're set in the same time period or something, I'm just like, it runs together too much. I actually, when I first discovered Agatha Christie, well, not discovered. When I first started reading her books, I had grown up watching like the David Suchet series and stuff. And when I just started reading her books, probably like 6 years ago or something, I read every single one that my library had, which was almost all of them in like a year. And so, except for like maybe 10 of them that really stand out, the rest of them, like, I don't remember anything about it. So, I have to like space out books that are really similar, or I don't remember anything about them. Last Christmas in Paris, The Orphan Collector, The Second Life of Muriel West. I haven't heard of that one. The Orphan Mother. I haven't heard of most of these. I've heard of The Orphan Collector, I think. That's some good variation now. I'm gonna grow my TBR on this live because that's what happens. I just am like writing stuff down. I haven't heard of that. 1920s. That would be a really fun setting for historical fiction. That's what I thought. I thought you and Christy read it. Yes. We need to buddy read something again soon. It's been way too long. Way too long. We read two really close together last year, and both of those books were in that haul, which is really funny. Oh. Yes, me too. That was definitely one of my like formative years series was Nancy Drew and like the Babysitter's Club. I read every single one of both of those books, and not just the original like Yellow Spine Nancy Drew books, but like the not so good, more modern spin-offs, which they're not modern now because I was a kid a while ago. But Along a Storied Trail, The Girl in His Shadow, The Stories That Bind Us. I've heard of that one. The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek. I've heard amazing things about that one. And actually, I have heard of, I think Chantel has talked about The Great Trouble. I think. Yeah, I really want to read The Book Woman of Troublesome Creek. Is that set in Kentucky? If you remember. I know it's set as, isn't it like someone who is going with like a traveling library kind of a deal? Unless I'm mixing that up with something else. But one of them was like Appalachian type area in Kentucky. And we just moved to Kentucky last year. And so the idea of reading something that's historically set in Kentucky is really fun. Me too. Me too. This is like our reading Project Gutenberg sprints all over again. All the good recommendations. I'm glad I'm not the only one adding all these things. Oh yeah, I read Hardy Boys too. I liked Nancy Drew more though, to be honest. Probably because I'm a girl. That is fascinating. I don't think I've ever heard of any book set in a leprosy hospital. That's so cool. And I love that you have a nonfiction too, because you could kind of like pair those together. That's really cool. I love that. This is the best. I love getting on with you guys and chatting about books. So fun. Oh, so I think it's probably maybe time to sprint soon. That sounds good. I'm thinking, let me see. Maybe trying to think if I should do 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm so indecisive. I have Trixie Belden books that I picked up at Goodwill for my daughter because, again, Chantel actually was talking about them on her channel, and I had never heard of them. I didn't read them growing up. Like, they were not on my radar, and I feel like I missed out because I've heard that they're actually, like, mystery-wise more fun than Nancy Drew, but I haven't compared them yet. I think I have, like, 4 of them. My daughters read 2 of them, I think. I never read any of the Boxcar Children mysteries, but I did read the first one, and it was one of my favorite books as a kid. Like, we were always, my little sister and I were always pretending that we were like living in a boxcar, like in our backyard. It is set in Kentucky. Thank you for trigger warnings. I appreciate that. I will check those before I read it. But yeah, in Kentucky. Yeah, see, I just think that that's fun when you can find something. I don't know that it's close to where I live at all. I feel like it's probably not. I feel like it's way more east than me, but yeah, I would still really like to check it out at some point. I haven't really read very many books that are set in the places that I'm living. Where we lived before here, we lived in Illinois, but we weren't far from St. Louis. So it was fun to read, kind of like reading some of Mark Twain stuff. I'm like, well, it's from Missouri and we're close to Missouri, but there was nothing, never anything close for like Southern Illinois. It's all like Chicago. Okay, that's what I was. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Pack horse librarian was what I was. The terminology I was going for along a story trail. Love it. That would still count as a historical fiction. I would say, Adrian. I think that if if it was set before the time period that it was written, then it would still count as historical fiction. So I'm just saying what people have told me. I haven't compared them. Do you want a buddy read one and see what we think? We could do a rant video if we think it's not more fun that we were lied to. Yes. Yes, I loved it. So we would bring like our little doll dishes and stuff outside and we'd wash them in like puddles or buckets that we pretended that we got from like a waterfall or a river or something. It was just so fun. We played that all the time. I loved it. It's such a, I feel like that book is an amazing, like, for your imagination, you know, like for kids. I love it. I read it to my daughter when she was really little, and she basically turned her room into, because I read it during the winter, I think, and she turned her room like into what a boxcar in her mind. Just fun. Let's do it. We should do it. Give Her Stars. I haven't read that one either, but I have heard of that one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. We should. I haven't read, like I said, I have 4 of them. I do have the first one. And the first one is the one that you would probably want to read first. I'm guessing it's, if it's anything like a lot of kids mystery series, you want to read the first one first, and then after that it probably doesn't matter. So I think I have 1, 2, and then I have like random numbers. So, yeah, that would be fun though. And it would be fun to compare. Be fun to read a Nancy Drew book and then a Trixie Belden book and compare them. That sounds like a fun video idea. All right, let's see. I think maybe I have to edit my banner here. Hang on. At least I remember to edit it before I put it up, unlike my last live that I did. That was a time. That was a time with technology. I'm hoping that I don't have issues with StreamYard crashing on me this time because I did last time. So if I'm gone for a minute, it's because StreamYard crashed, but I will be back. So we'll start sprinting at 8 o'clock and we'll go till 8:30. Got like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and well, maybe I won't put it there if there are more comments. The Moonlight School. Marcy, you have so many great recommendations. I love it. How fun. I feel like I'm getting such amazing recommendations. I don't read a ton of historical fiction, so I can't say that I have like a lot of things that I can recommend. I have like a few books that I've read that I've enjoyed and a few books that I've read that I haven't enjoyed. So I haven't delved super deep into historical fiction. I will admit that the fact that a lot of them are dual timeline with like a modern day timeline can be part of the reason why. It's not my favorite. I'm sure it can be done well though. I just usually end up really liking the past timeline and not liking the future one and feeling like they could have been two separate books instead. But I think that that's a pretty unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people who like historical fiction really like the dual timeline. Again, dual timeline's not a deal breaker, but that's usually been my experience, and I probably should not generalize. Okay, I think it's about 8 o'clock. So, all right, we have plans. We have plans. Joanna, you can participate if you'd like. Also, can have a group chat on Instagram. Instead of K dramas, we will discuss Trixie Belden. Oh, awesome. All right, I think it's time to sprint. And so we will sprint until 30. I guess I want to be like, that works for everyone, but I guess it's my life, so I need to make decisions instead of making other people make decisions. Okay, so I think that I'm going to start with the Joy Luck Club. I think I'm not very far, so let's start sprinting, and I will see you guys in just a little bit. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My special guest is here. Hi. Christy's hanging out.
Sorry, I'm so late.
No, it's fine. I wasn't sure if you were coming or not, so I said I might have a special guest. And Dia's here now. And
Yeah.
Krista's here. Thank you, thank you. Oh, and Marcy left. Well, thank you for hanging out, Marcy. She had some amazing historical fiction recommendations before we sprinted. So, how are you, Christy?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited to be celebrating with you. Congrats on
Yay!
Wednesday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's exciting. What are you reading tonight?
I've been trying to read Rassless, but it's not going very well.
How far into it are you?
I'm still 40%.
Okay, yeah.
I was trying to read it that whole sprint and I just didn't. I read like 1%.
It's okay. It's okay. There were parts of it that I really enjoyed and parts of it that I was just like, okay. That I was
Did you
just like,
already
all right.
finish it?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I did.
That's
Uh,
impressive.
I would say that I liked it overall, but I don't know that it's one I would reread. It has some good like quotable parts and some good humor in certain parts, but I felt like it was very meandering.
Yeah.
uh,
I would say that's true.
Penny gave up on it, Rassless. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I could see people giving up on it because it doesn't have that much of a plot. It's just him going around talking to random people trying to find happiness.
It's like good philosophically, but yeah. I think I would
Yeah.
rather just read like a treatise on philosophy.
See, and that's what I was thinking when I finished it. I was like, I feel like this would have been better communicated in like essay format than a story. But I do have to say that I appreciate the fact that apparently he wrote this in a week to get money to help his like sick mother. The fact that he wrote it in a week, I'm like, this is pretty dang good if you take that into account. So,
Yes. I know. Victoria like introduced it. Hi. In her video, and she knew more about it than I did when we chose it. And she said that it was written in a hurry for money. It seems like a lot of classics were written in a hurry for money.
yeah, yeah. Oh, well, does this make you feel better, Christy?
No, that doesn't, because Stephanie can blast through something in like a couple hours.
That's true. That's true. Stephanie is good at that.
She will finish something, man. I have confidence in her.
She's fast. She's one of the fastest readers I know.
And
Although I
she
would
draws
say,
value from it.
yeah, I would say Dia's up there too. Dia, how many books are you up to for this year? Over 300, right?
Wow.
Yeah, Dia's a very fast reader too. So,
I'm surrounded by fast readers. You're a fast reader.
not as fast as Stephanie and Dia. I guess we can always find someone faster than us, probably, but see, 343.
Wow. How do you do that? That's way more than a book a day. I don't get it. Wow.
It's impressive. It really is. It really is. Oh, so how did everyone do on their sprints? I didn't even ask. It's too busy talking with Christy. I think I read about. I was getting very distracted because my dog was back here at one point. I think I read about 30-ish pages. I'm reading the Joy Luck Club, Christy.
Nice.
I think I told you I was reading that. That I
Yeah.
started it.
That's a page a minute. That's good.
Yeah, I guess that makes me feel better. Thank you.
How far are you in it?
I am 90 pages in. So I just started part 2. The 26 malignant gates, whatever that means. I don't know yet.
Wow.
So it's about like these women who immigrated to the United States from China. And it's kind of like their stories and also like their daughters who were born in America.
Mm-hmm.
So
is
and
there a scene? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to change the subjects. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in one of my literature classes, we read, I think, a portion from that book, and it was about a girl learning piano in a piano recital that she had.
Huh.
Does that sound familiar at all?
Not yet, but there is one person who talked about how her mother like traded housework so she could have piano lessons. So it may be that same character when we get to that scene. So
That
that's
was very poignant, that story. I have never forgotten it. So we'll see what you think.
I'm really enjoying it so far. I read another book by her last November, actually, The Kitchen God's Wife, and it takes place in China during World War II. So with Imperial Japan and stuff, which was a very interesting setting I hadn't seen before. And it was so good. I really liked it. So
That does sound good. I'm
it's
looking
real
that up.
good. Just started chapter 12 of Little Women. Let me see. I've read through chapter 7. Alyssa is smoking me. little men. Shorty September, middle grade March. Yeah, but still, Dia. But still, I read during September last year, counting short stories and books. Like I read 30 in September last year, and I still did not make it to 200 books for the whole year, including that. And I just made it to 100 this year, so I'm not going to make it even close to 200 this year. So that's even if you're doing that, that's still a lot of books.
Yes. Wow.
Oh, 4 chapters. That's pretty good. Are you reading that, Christy? Because that's for the Kindred Spirits book club, Joanna said. So
I started the first book and I was just kind of like, I'd rather read other things.
I haven't participated in it in a while. I read A Girl with the Limberlost and then missed the live show. So, and then the only live show I've made it to was the one in January. Sorry, Kate. But it's a bunch of the books that she has read this year are books that I read like within the last year or two. And so I wasn't quite ready to reread them yet. So
That'll do it.
hi, good to see you. Thank you so much. You're not that late. We've only had one sprint. We're still going to be here for a little while. And now Christy's here.
Yes.
Oh, your son's having surgery? I didn't know your son was having surgery. I hope he's okay. It doesn't interfere with his archery too much. I have not read that yet. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say that makes me, whenever I see Krista, I'm like, I wonder how Jordan's doing.
Yeah, how is Jordan
for
doing,
him.
Krista? Yeah. So did you read Fury Song yet, Chrissy? It's the what was it? Fireborn. You, me, and Leslie read the first 2 books last year, but I haven't read Fury Song. I have the audio on hold, and I've delayed it several times because I haven't been ready for it. I've been in the middle of other things. I'm like, I don't want to listen to that right now. Was it worth it, Dia? Was it worth it? Because I don't know. The angst was real in book 2. That's the main thing I remember. I remember the twist at the end and that it was super angsty. But it is YA. So, Girl in His Shadow, a historical about a girl learning medicine in a time when that just wasn't done. Wow, that sounds really good. What time period is it set in? Curious.
Adding Baileys to cocoa is genius. That is so smart.
I've never done that. I love cocoa though. I made some tea, but I made it before I came on, and by the time I got to the sprints, it was not very warm anymore because I talked too much. I didn't realize that this was a sequel to the other one. That shows how much I've been paying attention to the Kindred Spirits book club lately. Maybe next month. I've had too many buddy reads and like readathons I've been participating in. So you can do it, Alyssa. I believe in you. You can do it.
Yeah.
There's still like, what? Like 6 weeks left of the year.
That's
There's time. There's time. Just read a bunch of short stories and you'll feel better about it.
Read some manga.
Yeah. There you go. Read Spy Family if you haven't read Spy Family yet. It's so fun. And Christy's been reading some manga too. That's really good. What have you been reading lately?
I've been reading a book called Witch Hat Atelier, which is super cute, about a girl who's learning a drawing magic and she's like making friends and it's very cute. And then I'm reading another series about an apothecary in an imperial harem in Japan. And she's trying to like diagnose ills and be a poison taster. And she does all these interesting things. So that's my favorite.
Is that the one where that inspired you to make chocolate?
Yes, that's what inspired me to make chocolate.
That's the one I really want to read. What's it called again?
It's called The Apothecary Diaries.
The Apothecary Diaries. I have to see if my library has that one, or ask my library to buy it, because I'm friends with my librarians and sometimes they get stuff just for me. I was the only one who asked for Spy Family and they did it. So, and the Daniel Abraham series, Long Price Quartet, they order that just for me too. So if I catch them when they're about ready to order books,
yes, benefits.
Keep me posted, Dia, because I want to know if it's worth it. If Fury Song is worth it.
I don't think I'm going to continue with that one.
I'm not sure if I will. Only maybe on audio. If I don't have something else to listen to, it might be fun. But I don't remember anything, and I don't want to reread the other ones again. Oh my goodness. And then he said, okay, a cyst near his tailbone. Well, I'm glad it's an easy surgery, that it's not like, could be a scarier surgery, but that's going to be rough for him, the recovery and stuff. But I'm glad that they were able to get him in so quickly. I'll be praying for him. Please keep me updated on how he's doing, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Me too. We were just like, if the two of you would actually just sit down and have a conversation instead of automatically believing the worst of each other, even though you're childhood best friends, then none of this would have happened. I know. Oh, that was it drove me nuts.
Don't best friends talk? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what happened? All of a sudden. Oh, more Baileys and cocoa lovers.
Smart. Never even thought of it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised Joanna's tried it, though, because she is like queen of cozy.
Yes. She's adventurous with her eating. Yeah. She's like made boba.
Has she really?
Yeah. When she was here, we went and got some boba, and I was like, yeah, I like the boba, but man, my drink, I don't like the flavor of it. And she's like, well, even the boba is not done right. Like, I've cooked boba, and this is like undercooked. I was just like, wow. Or she's like, this is not cooked right.
She's amazing. She's like always baking and stuff too. Joanna, you're the coolest. We want to be like you.
Yeah, seriously.
And now Stephanie wants cocoa. Me too. But unfortunately, the only like cocoa packets in my house have dairy in them, and I can't have dairy. And I'm not putting in the effort to make it from scratch. Just saying. Not right now. Not this late at night. Not that it's even late. I'm just old. Check your library, Alyssa. Check your library for the titles we mentioned, if any of those sound cute to you. Because
sometimes they'll have them on ebook.
Oh yeah, they might have it on ebook too. Because I don't love buying manga because I go through it so fast, and I'm like, am I really going to reread this enough times to justify spending like $12 a volume or whatever? I think that's what Spy Family is. I'm like, I'm not going to spend that much. Because when am I going to reread it? Maybe at some point, but not as often as I would maybe something else. So,
yes.
65. Yay, Joanna. That's awesome. 4 of them have been Spy Family. My library just got in volume 6, and I had read the first 5, and I'm like, oh. So I got it, and I haven't read it yet. Should have brought that in tonight. Jordan's doing okay.
Okay.
Good. Well, thank you for the update, because then we kind of know specifically how to be praying for him. But I'm glad he's doing all right. Yes. Yeah. Yes. If your library has like online, most libraries have like online stuff that you can read digitally. They may not have that digitally, like those specific titles, but like my library has like, usually it's either the Libby app or the Hoopla app that you can download on your phone and then plug in your library card, and then it should like give you access to those. And your library's website should say probably whether it's Hoopla or Libby or Overdrive. Right, Christy?
Yes.
I'm asking the librarian person.
That would be correct. The website should have like a digital resources section that'll tell you all the digital resources available to you.
Yeah. So if you have a library card, then do that. If you don't have a library card, you might be able to get them on Kindle, but you would have to. I don't know if you would have to pay for them, but I don't know how much. I don't know if it would be way less than physical or not, because they're not super long usually, so it may still be a similar price point. I don't know. Victoria!
Victoria!
You get a song, Victoria.
Yay!
Makes sense. Musical bookworm. You get a song.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, look, the heart. Do you have the finger heart yet on your phone yet, Joanna? Your emojis. Oh, thank you for keeping me updated also, Lindsay. But we don't make boba, so we need to up our game.
Yeah, seriously.
I have goals now. I have dreams and I have aspirations. There to make boba. The fact that you even can make them at home, I don't know. I just felt like it was going to be too complicated. I just need Joanna to send me the recipe.
Thank you.
She sends me stuff all the time. She'll post about baking on Instagram, and I'm like, can I have a recipe?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. So have you gotten a lot of reading done today? Christy is also doing 24 and 48, so.
Yes. Well, right before coming on here, I was on a Zoom for like over 3 hours, which is why I was late. Because I was like, okay, I'm coming, Tiffany. And then I got up and I was like, whoa, I need a break. I need to walk around for a bit. So I haven't read
Totally fine.
that much today.
I thought you were reading on your call. Didn't happen, did it?
We were chatting.
It's like when we get on calls.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
We might get a little work done. We're doing sprints.
Well, you see, when it's on a live like this, there's some accountability.
Yes, definitely.
More than if it's just the two of us.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome. It was an original. Just ask Claire. I sing all the time. I make all of our animals, all of our pets have multiple songs for them. So sometimes they're altered from another song. Like our puppy Dexter, both of his songs are actually K-pop songs that I have put his name in and changed it. But some of them are completely original. So you're welcome. That was an original. Oh, it's getting real over here.
Wow.
So
I didn't know you like boba.
So are you saying that I need to have a video with Boba and Trixie Belden and Nancy Drew? Because Stephanie and I were talking before you came on, saying that we need to read them because someone was saying they liked Trixie Belden as a kid better than they like Nancy Drew. And I have some Trixie Belden books, but I never read them as a kid. And so Stephanie and I were saying we should read them together and compare. So we'll have a Boba and kid mystery. Fun.
Fun.
Have you read Trixie Belden?
No.
Okay.
But I did read Nancy Drew.
Yeah, me too. The covers are kind of awful, some of them. Yeah, that's it. I have exceeded my goal. I think it's supposed to be reading for 24 hours and 48 hours, which I doubt that I'll actually do that. I'm supposed to be vlogging too, and I said that I was gonna keep track, and I don't even know. So that keeping track is not going well. It's okay. It's okay.
Has anyone else noticed that your reading speed varies wildly depending on what you're reading?
Yes.
Then I'm not alone. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I read faster if it's a newer book, and like a classic takes me longer, but a nonfiction takes me even longer. Usually. because I
Yeah.
feel like I need to focus. I feel like I need to pay attention more. I can't skim. All your kids do too. I love that. I love that. I say kittens. They're still kittens to us, but we got them last year right after Thanksgiving, so they're technically adults. But one of them, his name's Winston, and we call him Winnie, and we sing Winnie the Purr instead of Winnie the Pooh. Aww. So our cats have nicer songs than Evil Kitty, Evil Kitty, where are you hiding?
I know one for Dexter is, I think we're in trouble. Oh yeah, we're in trouble. Oh, yeah.
Dexter is in trouble. Yeah, that's one of his songs. Yep. Oh, you have the whole series. What? Okay, if you have them, I'm assuming you own them. What's your opinion on the Trixie Belden versus Nancy Drew comparison? Because yeah, people who grew up with Trixie Belden, a lot of them have said that they thought they were just more interesting mystery-wise. But I don't know if that's nostalgia speaking or if that's true. Yes, I'm impressed too.
Okay.
I do also get impressed kind of easily, but boba just feels like that would be a lot to make from scratch.
Slowly, we're drawing Stephanie into our Korean obsession.
We are. She's now in our K-drama web. Anyone else want to join our K-drama cult?
Yes, it's so fun.
And Victoria's part of it too, actually.
Yes. Krista, on one of her lives, we were all recommending K-dramas to her. So I'm curious if she ever
have you watched any? I love this so much, Krista. I just left it up here until I responded because I love it so much. He's just like, again, and you're like, I don't know. Because I do that with Claire. She's like, what's that song that you were singing to Gus earlier? And I'm like, and then sometimes 3 days later, I'll remember. Selective memory. Okay, that makes me feel better. Essentially, I'm just reading a lot in 48 hours. That's what I've come to. I started at 9:30 this morning, so I can go till 9:30 Monday morning.
Yeah, for me, it's more like instead of like working on Korean or editing a video, instead I will like read during the day.
Yeah,
so it's more reading than I would normally do.
It's been that way for me because it's been like a really, I think I mentioned this at the beginning, it's been like a really crazy week this week, like super busy, and I'm just exhausted. And today I'm just like, I'm just gonna read all day. And tomorrow the only thing I have going on is church in the morning, and then I can just read some more, and that sounds great. So
yes,
this is a really good point, Lindsay, that like margins make a really big difference. Like I'm wondering if I compare, or even like text size. Obviously, now these are pretty similar. The two books I have sitting here are pretty similar, but I have like editions of Jane Austen. I think actually Alyssa has the same ones because I remember her messaging me about them, and the margins are like this much of the page. Like they're huge.
Yeah.
And so like a page for that is way quicker than another one. I'm not alone. Actually, I think Krista just said in a video that I watched recently, I don't know if it was an old video or not because it was on my watch later list, that like it takes longer for her to get through nonfiction. And that's definitely me. Like it always takes longer, even if it's written like very engagingly.
Actually, like, I would say memoirs I'm very fast with usually, but other kinds of nonfiction, slow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, memoirs are usually quicker for me too. But I just finished Devil in the White City by Erik Larson today. And I found that book like really riveting. But like I started it like the beginning of the month. And it's the 19th.
That's still pretty fast. It's a thick book.
Like, well, mine's only like, what is it? Like 300 pages ish without the index in the back. Maybe it's 400. It's 300 or 400 pages. I don't know.
It's
but
like
if that
188.
Okay. if it was a fiction book that's 388 pages, I probably would have finished it quicker. Because I was listening to it on audio too when I was cleaning or when I was walking. So if it had been a fiction, I would have finished it sooner, I think. Oh, you guys, I'm way behind on comments. I'm sorry. Yes, bigger font for sure. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Trixie Belden felt younger. She definitely is a younger protagonist, but since I haven't compared whether or not the mysteries themselves feel younger, because Nancy Drew was still geared toward middle grade age, so. Of course, Oliver gets all of our twist songs. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who makes up songs for their animals. My daughter has multiple ones. My husband has multiple ones. Like, and I just randomly sing whatever I'm doing. I live in a musical, you guys. My life is a musical, but no one else has figured it out yet, so I'm singing by myself. Oh. Yoshi and Princess Peach. Oh, I forgot. I think you told me that before. So you say it like in the video games. You're like, Yoshi! Cute. Oh, I'm so glad you liked it. Did you see the pictures that I put up of that on Instagram, Christy?
I think so, yeah. Was it a little while ago?
It was last weekend. Last Friday. I made it for company that was coming over. And Krista's like, I need to make this. I'm glad you liked it. I thought it was delicious. It's perfect fall dessert. And it needed less apples. Like, so I wanted to make apple crisp. And I was like, I don't know if I have enough apples for that. But the apple cake needed less apples. So. Uh-oh.
Oh, you gotta try it. You gotta try it. I think you will love it. There's historical ones.
Which one did you recommend to her? Well, you said you recommended a lot. Was there one that...
There was like 5 that people recommended and she wrote them down.
Okay.
I don't remember what they all were. I don't normally watch the historical ones, so I'm probably not the best person. Maybe Kate would be better actually to ask.
You watched Crash Landing on You though, right?
Well, I haven't finished it.
Oh. That's the one I've heard everyone talk about and I haven't watched it yet. It's on the list.
Though. It's like
no,
it's like set in North Korea, so it feels kind of historical because their lifestyle is like in a historical book or movie, but it's set in the modern day.
Oh, I thought it was historical. I think I just saw like a picture of it, like the cover or whatever looked. Gave me that vibe. So, okay, this is Dia's thing. She thinks they're more interesting. Nancy's more interesting, but more drama and Trixie. Okay. Well, Stephanie and I we're gonna give a verdict. Okay. All right. Here's another Trixie Belden thought. 13. Well, you're right. Nancy is pretty much like, yeah, it's that time period where the protagonist needed to be like squeaky clean, goody two shoes kind of a thing. Kind of like a lot of women in like classic literature. They're like these perfect little angels. Look at all those books.
I always have a pile.
You're just prepared for sprints. I can pick anything out of this pile.
I know, if I move it, it starts to avalanche. I just remembered I'm supposed to be stretching.
Yeah. Oh, familiarity is another good thing. I agree. That like if it's something that you've reread or something that you know something about, it's easier to speed through. And I think that's why, because I haven't read a lot of like historical nonfiction. And so when I read it, I'm like, oh, I don't know any of this. And so I feel like I really have to pay attention. Like I learned so much about the World Fair from Devil in the White City. So many things that I didn't know originated at the World's Fair in Chicago. And I'm like, that's cool. I was reading some of it to Peter earlier today, some excerpts from it.
When I was studying writing, there was a bunch of tips in the book that were like ways to make it easier for your readers to follow what you're saying. And like one of the tips, for example, was keeping the main character of the story, even if it's like nonfiction, having the readers follow one person through it all makes it easier, and not switching the subjects around in a paragraph, but keeping like one subject so I think I've noticed that that kind of stuff really helps me, and it really depends on the skill of the writer whether it works for me. Not necessarily the skill, but just how well the writer does those particular things. And that's not every writer's priority. Not
Right.
everyone is concerned with making it very readable. So
Yeah, sometimes it's more about information than presentation.
yes.
I feel like Eric Larson kind of did that in The Devil in the White City. We'd alternate chapters between H.H. Holmes and then Burnham, who was like behind the World's Fair. So you're still kind of following two parallel things that are happening at once, but there was still some switching around. So
I think you're right, though. He's pretty good at that. That's why his
mm-hmm.
nonfiction is accessible.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that this was really accessible. I tried reading Isaac Storm earlier this year, and I just felt kind of bogged down by the meteorology aspect. But in this thing, like, it was architecture and the planning of the World Fair, and then a serial killer. And I found both of them really interesting. I liked the architecture element. So that's a good idea, to set a timer and stop it to see how many days it would take. That would be a fun video idea. How long does it take me to complete 24 hours of reading?
Or like a specific book. Or like...
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know if that would be a good video idea, though. That might be kind of boring.
Well, if you make it like a vlog style, though, and share your thoughts as you go, and then at the end just kind of include that. Mm-hmm. Or be like, I'm updating. It's this day. I've read for this many hours. Here's what I think so far. That's kind of how you would have to do it, I think. Otherwise, it probably would be.
That sounds like a Books and Lala challenge.
It does. Well, Peter had come up with this video idea. Well, I'm all right. If you're on the live, you get to be spoiled for something I'm working on that I think is fun, that I haven't seen anyone else do yet, but maybe someone has. He was talking about, like, what if I adopted the reading habits of a famous person for a day? And he's like it talks about how long Einstein read every day. Or I think he said someone else. Maybe it was some president, and he's like, he would read during breakfast, and then he'd take a break for so many hours and work on this, and then he'd read a whole book in the afternoon, and like all this. And so like that would be like a super fun thing. So
that is a great idea.
Yeah. And I was like, I've seen people do things like, I read all the books that were referenced in Taylor Swift's album, or I read all the books that RM from BTS recommended, or stuff like that. So like celebrity recommendations, but not actually reading like a famous person for a day, kind of a thing. That would be cool.
It's like really common on AuthorTube for authors to try each other's writing practices for a week or something. So that would be a really cool BookTube crossover.
Yeah. I thought that sounded really fun. He's like, you're welcome.
Good idea.
Oh, okay. I'm getting behind on the Trixie Belden comments. Sorry, you guys. Much nicer friends who treat each other well. Well, yeah, Nancy's friends are really not nice to Bess, especially because apparently she's slightly bigger than the average person. So I reread a Nancy Drew book. Maybe it was last year for my nostalgic reads for my birthday. I can't remember, but I read it and I was like, how many times are they going to call this poor girl fat? Like, can you stop? Like over and over again. They're like, and they were joking around about how she likes to eat. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
Oh my gosh. Sheesh. That's so funny. I don't remember that.
That happens to me too. Yeah, I didn't either. Like I did not remember that from childhood. Okay, yep. Krista says she has to take nonfiction slower too, unless it's a memoir. I like nonfiction on audio if I feel like I have a grasp on like mostly I've been trying to read more historical nonfiction this year, and if I have a grasp on like the people a little bit better, then it's fine for me to listen to. But a lot of times. Like it's easy for me to miss details, and I'm like, wait, what happened?
Exactly. And it's like, why am I reading a nonfiction if not to remember the details? Like,
Yes, it
why
feels
am I
more
reading
important.
this?
Yeah, there is a lot of architectural talk. There is.
Though, what I've been wondering is I've noticed that if I listen to like a historical podcast or something, and then I like listen to a book about the same subject, I will start remembering things. So they like feed each other if you listen to multiple sources. Just like if you read multiple sources, it will help inform you on multiple aspects of the subject.
Yeah.
So I wonder if I could get into listening to nonfiction like that.
You probably could, because I know that there are like lots of different historical podcasts like that specialize in different time periods or whatever, if that's what you're talking about. Because there's so many different subgenres of nonfiction, obviously.
Yes.
But it'd be interesting to see if there's like a Korean history podcast,
Yes.
which would then help you with your history of Korea book.
Yes.
And aren't you reading a Russian history book with Danny too?
Yes. Although I haven't talked to her about it because I'm stalled.
It's a big book too.
It's a big one.
Oh, Krista still has her list of K-dramas. So good. I will really look forward to seeing which ones you end up watching. I hope you share either on your channel or on Instagram, because I would love to know. I watched my first K-drama in January with Christy and Joanna and Kate for some of it. I think Kate dropped out about halfway through because she didn't love it. And so I've watched like 6, I think, K-dramas this year, 5 or 6. Maybe I've finished 5, and then Christy and I are watching one right now, and I'm rewatching the first one I watched this year with my husband, because now my husband likes K-dramas. I've been watching some of them with him. So we've got him hooked on it.
That's a good way to do it.
It is. It's more fun. It's more fun.
Like, say, us.
Yeah, you should watch with us. We'll probably start a new one in January.
Yes.
More singing. This is like the best live, you guys. It's like we're talking about nonfiction, we're talking about K-dramas, we're talking about singing. I've found my people. I love you all. Everyone's like, yes, I sing too. I remember I came home in 1st or 2nd grade with a Goosebumps book and had nightmares. And my parents were like, you're not reading anymore of these. Oh. And the funny part is it wasn't like a super scary, like ghosty one. It was about sharks. I remember very clearly. It had sharks on the cover. And I like couldn't sleep. I was so freaked out by it. And it's hilarious because then when I became a teenager, my younger sister and I discovered the Goosebumps show. And it's probably the worst thing you could ever watch. It's so corny. The special effects are awful. The acting is the worst I've ever seen in almost anything. And we will marathon it, and like we still do sometimes. We'll watch it, like we'll get together and like watch it for hours and just laugh and laugh and laugh. And like when we see Goosebumps DVDs at the thrift store, like we pick them up and we watch them together. So it's really funny because as a kid I was like, oh my gosh, and as a teenager I'm like, Goosebumps.
That's hilarious.
Oh. Gosh, I'm so behind on comments, you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what this is in reference to, so I'm sorry. Yes, memoirs. Yeah, it's like one person's thoughts, one person's experiences. So yeah, I think
about multiple people, I have a much harder time reading it. Fiction included.
Yeah, that's true when you have a multiple perspective fiction. And I found that there are not a ton of fictions that I found that have like multi POV, like in first person, that actually have really distinctive voices. So a lot of times I'm like, wait, who are we following? And I have to go back and check. But there are a few that I'm like, oh, these voices are super distinct. And like, so it makes me appreciate it so much more when I find that.
Yeah.
I really want to do the reading like a famous person. I could do research
You
though.
should do
And
it.
Adrian, I think it might have been Teddy Roosevelt, actually. I think that might have been, I think. I could be wrong though. But I think now that you say that, I think it might have been Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah, I'm not like, I haven't written in a long time. So to do like a certain author, I need to get back in a regular writing habit before I'm ready to do that. But I haven't written in a very long time.
Are you thinking of writing?
I haven't in a long time. I used to.
Oh
But
my
I kind
god.
of like have fallen off that train. I wrote more nonfiction-y kind of stuff. I used to write fiction a lot when I was like a kid and a teenager, but I haven't really tried to write any fiction in a long time. But I used to write a lot of nonfiction like stuff, and I used to blog all the time, and I haven't done that in a long time. So,
Oh, that's true. You do blog. Okay.
but it's been a long time. So
Your daughter writes stories all the time, and I think she got it from somewhere.
she's kind of a mini me in a lot of ways. Like my parents and my sisters, when they're around her, they're like, that's like baby Tiffany. She has a very similar personality to me. But then she'll do things and I'm like, oh, nope, that's your dad. Or, oh, nope, that's all you. Like, you're not a clone by any means. So I never read Encyclopedia Brown or Mandy, but Dia just sent a bunch of Mandy books to Claire not that long ago. And Claire was really enjoying those. I did love Choose Your Own Adventure, though. I got a lot of those. I love Choose Your Own Adventure. Why are there not adult Choose Your Own Adventure books?
I know. Well, I know that there are erotica ones. I've heard of those.
Oh,
I haven't heard of anything else.
I would totally do a Choose Your Own Adventure, not the erotica kind.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin and I were both Encyclopedia Brown readers growing up.
Oh, fun. I've heard of it. I don't know if I think I saw it when I was kind of a little bit past that age range and didn't really ever get into them. So, yes, I agree. Poor Bess.
Poor Bess.
The library book. It's a fascinating deep dive into the LA library, but also part true crime about a fire that happened there in the 80s, and also a love story about libraries in general. Everything about that sounds like what I need in my life.
That sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, my library book club, a bunch of people read it in my library book club and said it was really good.
That feels like an appropriate library book club read.
Yes.
Especially in California.
Yes.
But even so, the library book for the library book club.
Yes.
Oh, bye, Dia. I think I missed you. I think you're probably already gone. Thanks for stopping by, though, and sharing your Trixie Belden thoughts. Okay, so for K-dramas, what we do is we have an Instagram group, like a chat group, and we all start at the same time, and then we just like share our thoughts while we're watching. The one Christy and I are watching right now, we actually like video chat because it's just two of us, but I think that if you had like the last one we watched with a group of people, I think there was like 5 or 6 people in that group, and that would have been chaotic to try to do a video chat. I wouldn't have been able to hear the drama at all. But yeah, that's what we usually do. And I've never watched a K-drama by myself. I started when Christy invited me to join their group, and then Christy and Joanna, I have watched quite a few together, and I've watched a couple with Peter, and then we just watched one with Christy and Joanna, and I watched one with Victoria and Stephanie as well. And that was really fun. So, oh, thanks, Joanna.
Thank you, Joanna.
That was like 5 minutes ago, too. Sorry. I'm like really behind.
It's seriously so fun, Krista. You should totally join us.
Yes. Stephanie agrees. Come to the dark side. Oh, fun. I didn't know you could order Turkish Delight. I've seen recipes for Turkish Delight. online, like for people that I know that like have read that and then they like make it. I don't know how hard it is to make because, to be honest, it didn't look delicious to me. I'm like, you do you, Edmund, but I would not sell my family for that. Cocoa, maybe, with all this cocoa talk, but not that. That's interesting. I'm really curious what it's like. You should do some sort of video about that, Amy. Like a tasting of Turkish delight with like Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That would be fun.
I envy them the first experience of that book. That was an amazing book to read as a kid.
Yes. That's I don't think actually that was the first one that I read. I think I read The Magician's Nephew first, but when we read them with Claire, we started with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So I just think it's more like, I realized technically, chronologically, The Magician's Nephew comes first, which is why that's how I read it as a kid. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is just so magical. Like, it's just such a good first introduction to Narnia. All right, Joanna says some flavors of Turkish delight are really good and some are disgusting.
Of course, Joanna has tried them.
Of course she has. Joanna's the best.
Yeah, you're so adventurous, Joanna. I admire that so much.
Ralph Macchio's memoir, waxing on about his experience with Karate Kid. My husband would really want to read that. He really would. He loves like nonfiction anyway. That's mostly what he reads. He loves historical nonfiction, which obviously this is not so historical, but he loves Karate Kid. I don't think maybe I watched it once as a kid. I don't know. I wasn't really into those kind of movies as a kid, but my husband is a big fan. All right, let's see. It's probably almost time for a sprint, but I do want to catch up on these comments first. All right. Amy ordered the least expensive Turkish delight, and she's never had it before.
Ooh.
So who knows? Sometimes the least expensive isn't the worst. Sometimes.
Yes.
Your library read book library before you joined, of course. How rude of them.
Darn it.
Krista says Turkish delight isn't good, in her opinion.
Oh boy. I've heard that too, actually, that it's not very good. So
it doesn't look good to me, to be totally honest. So I've never desired to try it. I feel like homemade would probably be better than buying it, maybe. Unless you're buying it from a confection store, not like online, but actually going to a store in person. But what do I know? I don't. Bye, Alyssa. Thanks for joining in. I'll talk to you about Little Men soon, probably. Penny said, I bought some Turkish delight when my kids were little, and it was terrible.
Okay.
Some strong opinions in here.
Yes.
Oh, Joanna has the finger hearts. And this.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
On my screen, it doesn't come through. It's just like 2 boxes. I could never get them. When she texts me them too, it doesn't come through.
Well, if you get weird emojis that don't show up, it's finger hearts. And the other one is this.
Yes.
Oh, so
I usually guess.
I saw this thing. Christy and I were talking about this, and now Claire's doing it too to be funny. How the cool kids, they don't do this anymore. They do. Hang on. They do this. I'm turning the wrong way. They do with their middle fingers instead of like this. I'm like, why? Why are you making it harder? That's a little aside. Krista said Turkish delight in Turkey is still not that good.
Okay.
This is a good point, Amy, that it might be part of the metaphor as well. Like, it looks good. Tastes sweet at first, but it's bitterness. Oh, Victoria had them at a Turkish wedding and said that they were good. So
okay,
maybe they had a better recipe than the ones in Turkey that Krista has.
Usually for most dishes, there's going to be like a million varieties of what it would look like if your family made it,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. Well, I think we should sprint again because we've been talking for a really long time. Because
Yes.
talking is fun.
Yes.
Talking about Turkish delights and K dramas and other fun things, nonfiction.
Yes.
Trixie Belden versus Nancy Drew. That's the theme of this. Trixie Belden and Nancy Drew just keep coming up over and over and over again. It's a common thread. Tupac. Oh, you didn't get the finger hearts either?
Weird.
Maybe it's certain operating systems, like certain phones. Because I have an iPhone, so I don't know. Maybe other phones are different.
I'm on my laptop.
Laptops, what I would think would have much more limited emojis.
Oh.
Watch
Okay.
it back on your phone and see if it shows up on the screen.
Oh yeah.
So, rose flavored Turkish delight. I have no interest in eating rose flavored anything. I don't know. Like, keep seeing it on like the Great British Baking Show, and I'm like, I didn't know about that. Lemon sounds like it would be decent. What is the original flavor? Is it strawberry? Because it's red. So that's right, Stephanie. Hot topics. We are spilling the tea over on this live. Christy, do you have Windows or Mac laptop?
Windows.
Windows. Is yours the same, Adrian? Because it could be, maybe it's a Windows thing. So it would make sense if Macs had all the emojis since iPhones do. Victoria likes the rose flavored one. I love it.
Was it too late when you did finger hearts?
Yeah, it was a little ways back.
I can't even find it.
It was during the Turkish delight conversation. Not that helps you.
I'm so lost.
Because there's a lot of Turkish delight conversations.
Yeah, there is.
Stephanie said it showed up on her phone chat, but not on her TV where she's watching. I'm on your TV. I feel like Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. I was on TV. Oh, okay. Krista said on a Mac. It just showed us 2 boxes too, so it's definitely a computer thing. Lindsay said 2 boxes on her Mac. Pistachio Turkish delight. Why is it pink then? Or red? Well, rose red, I guess. Anyways, Amy has the rose ones.
Oh, okay.
I'm on another TV. You guys, I'm so famous.
You're famous.
Famous. I'm so fabulous. Christy gets
no bots this time. You're famous without bots today. Yay.
My husband hasn't trolled me yet either, but he probably just heard me say that. The last one, if you guys weren't here.
That was really funny.
I guess it's a laptop thing, but I may also be, maybe Android doesn't have it either. Yes, I'll be signing autographs later. Send me your address. I will autograph it. I was talking at our ladies' night last night. We were talking at our church. We were talking about doing like a Yankee swap type slash what are the names for it? Dirty Santa or White Elephant. They have like different names. And they were like, oh, you can bring, a gag gift if you wanted to. I was like, well, we did this church wide one time at one church, and Peter brought an autographed picture of himself as the pastor to a Yankee swap. It's really funny.
I love it.
So I'll autograph a picture of myself. His picture was like, he took his own picture and printed it out at like Walmart. He was like, it's great.
I love
Eventually we're gonna sprint. Okay. Rose, tea, and candy. Okay, so I haven't tried rose, so I can't really say. It just doesn't sound that appealing. All right, we're sprinting. It's happening.
All right. I'm gonna go lay down and I'll come back once our time is up.
Okay.
But I will be reading.
We'll come back at 54, a weird time in honor of Krista because we love her. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
21:20 at the half.
You're in the screen of my computer.
Hello, welcome back, friends. I'm glad you could finally see the finger hearts. Maybe mine were special. I don't know. How did everyone do on the sprints?
Hi.
Hello. How did you do? Or did you just rest?
I actually finally researched the Russian writers in that short, that reel on Instagram that I sent, that we were talking about. So I was trying to find somebody that I could read on Gutenberg.
What? Oh, never mind. I was like, what? Real? And then it took me a second. I'm good. I'm good. Oh my gosh. I'm looking back. I got bots.
Oh
Hang
no.
on. You know, you can put users in a timeout. I didn't know that. We're just blocking them. We don't need adult dating. Thanks anyway. Oh, I guess I can turn off my banner too. Oh, Stephanie.
What is
What book
Stephanie
are-
reading?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what book are you reading again? I forget. I'm sorry. I read one chapter of Little Men and one chapter of the Joy Luck Club. So
Right.
progress in each. Oh, that darn cat. I haven't seen that darn cat in like forever. Watched that when I was a kid. Why did I forget that that's what you were reading? I should have remembered that out of everything anyone else shared. Although I still haven't read like Second Era Mistborn. I've only read First Era.
Michael will be so glad you're reading that, Stephanie. He was just boxing me the other day. He was like, have you read The Last Metal? Because nobody's read it yet, and I need to talk to someone.
Oh, have you read the Second Era Mistborn, Christy?
All but the newest one.
Okay. Did you like it as much as First Era?
I think I preferred the First Era, but it was good. It was just... it just felt more modern, and I prefer things that are older, I guess.
Yeah.
But But I did love it. It was very good.
I've heard it's just a very different feel. So
It's very different.
Counting by Sevens. I have not read that yet. I've heard that it's really good. I think I got it from the library as a middle grade March option and just was one that I didn't get to. I knew what you meant, Katie. I immediately knew you meant that darn cat. Oh, 90 pages left. Hey, you are close. Fun.
Sweet.
Fun. Which book are you reading? Oh, by the way, Adrian, did you finish War and Peace? I know you were working on it for school, so I'm just curious if you had ended up finishing that yet. I love when those kind of books happen, when you're just like, I should be responsible, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about reading the next book in the Farseer trilogy. Like, I have buddy reads, I have things to read, but I really want to read the next book. So, Stephanie would approve, I'm sure. Oh, goodness. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do... I'm trying to... I normally do, like, 3 sprints. It's already, like, 10 o'clock. Because we talked for so long the last time. Which is fine. I just feel bad. I know. You approve of my Hob choices. I still have so much Hob left to read, which is great. I've only read 1.
I'm actually not feeling super great, so I would probably just hang out to chat a little longer, and then I'll probably get going.
I probably am actually going to end in a little bit. I would love to do another sprint, but I mean, I do actually have to get up in a timely manner tomorrow, so I don't really want to be on here till like 11 o'clock or something. Yeah. So I'm sorry, guys. This has been more chatty than it's been sprinty, but it's okay. It's been really fun talking about all the things. It's been great. It's been so fun hanging out with you guys. And you too, Christy, of course.
Yes. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I've been meaning to research those authors for a long time, so I feel good now that I've finally done it.
Yes. Yes, it has been a fun sprint. I agree, Stephanie. We covered all the good stuff. Thank you, Krista. That makes it sound better, doesn't it? We're less productive, but it's because we are celebrating. So it's fine. It's my party. I can do what I want to. I'm not going to cry because it's not fun. Unless I'm reading a book that makes me cry. But not yet. I mean, it's possible that maybe these books will. Little Women made me cry. And so did The Kitchen God's Wife, actually. So there's potential.
Alright. Oh, that's the last one you read by her.
Yeah, that was like last November. It's funny because it looks just like this, but it's like a dark green. But it's got like the gold, and it's really pretty. I don't have my copy of it right now because my sister borrowed it when she came to visit from New Hampshire in March. And so she's coming out for Christmas. So I'm going to remind her, bring that book.
Nice.
You did finish War and Peace. Congratulations. It's an achievement.
Mm-hmm.
See It Feelingly. Classic novels, autistic readers, and the schooling of a no-good English professor. That sounds really interesting. That's a very intriguing and also very long title. Thank you for that validation, Stephanie. Mm-hmm. I'm on so many people's TVs. It's not even funny. Oh, well, I think maybe I'll wrap up here since it is 10 o'clock and Katie's battery's dying. So, thank you so much for coming and hanging out and celebrating. You're wonderful. It was so good to chat with you all about all the fun things and all the books. And I have lots of books that I added to my TBR tonight. And that's actually how you know it was good reading sprints. Not how much you read. How much did you add to your TBR?
That's when you know you've had a good chat.
Yes. So thank you all for coming and hanging out with me. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for coming, Christy.
Thank you for inviting me. This was so fun.
Hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you later.
Good night.
Bye.